Ooh-wee. Erika Jayne is coming to Shannon Beador's defense. We also have Tamra Judge, who's firing back at Vicki Gunvalson. And then we have quite a spicy lineup for the new season of Dancing with the Stars. I hope you was ready, Freddie. Let's get it. You're listening to No Filter with Zack Pack, your go-to source for all the latest pop culture and reality TV tea, served fresh all week long. Now, let's dive in. What's up, guys? How's it going? Welcome on in. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. Happy what's today? Wednesday? Happy Wednesday. What's up? Hope you guys are having a great start to your week. Well, I mean, it's a bit of a slower week because we had the holiday weekend and now here we are. Oh, like a furry. Okay, so there's like a hair on my mouth. I don't know what's going on with my face today, guys, but we here. We made it. We doing the damn thing. And hopefully, you guys are living your best life. Joe Mendoza says, there's only two hotties I saw in Dancing with the Stars lineup, Danny and Joey. Looking forward to their shirtless performance. Okay, well, let's get into it because we have the new season of Dancing with the Stars. Glenn Goodman. So the cast has been announced and people are fired up. So first up we have the one and only, the Queen of Beverly Hills. Well, the Princess of Beverly Hills. Let's not say Queen. It's being a bit dramatic. Candy Spellman is the Queen. But so first up we have Tori Spelling, everybody. The one and only Tori Spelling. For some reason, I thought she would have done Dancing with the Stars by now. It's wild that she hasn't. She hasn't done it before, right? Jenny Garth, I know, has done it. Shannon Doherty, I know, has done it. Brian Austin Green has done it. But so we have Tori Spelling. We have Phaedra Parks from Real Houses of Atlanta, Traders, Married to Medicine. We have I just got a text from another podcaster. There's some drama. What is going on? Oh, someone's popping off on Reddit right now. Getting a little unhinged. How are we? Back to Dancing with the Stars. So we have Phaedra Parks. We have Tori Spelling. We have Eric Roberts. She's Julia Roberts' brother. Emma Roberts' dad, right? Yeah. We have Anna Delvey. I know a lot of people are like fired up about Anna Delvey. It's quite the interesting lineup, if you ask me. I'm kind of like, what's going on? Because, I mean, I know people are like mad. I'm happy that they have, Anna Delvey on. I just think they should also have on, what's her face? Gypsy Rose. I'm like, if that's what we're leaning into, if that's the pivot we're going with, then let's go all in. Like I would love to see Gypsy Rose on Dance with Her. Like Gypsy Rose would thrive. So many people are like, oh my God, somebody check on Sheena because Sheena must not be doing well. I was just like, really? Okay. Okay, so back to it. So we have Anna Delvey. So we have Joey Graziade, who's from The Bachelor. He's really hot. And I know Joe was thirsting over him in the live chat. He like wowzas. He's a cutie patootie. So he's gonna bring some heat. Are the Bachelors ever good on Dance with the Stars? I don't remember the last time I like actually watched a season of Dancing with the Stars. But this has been an interesting cast. We also have Alana Mayer. She's the rugby player. Was she the one that just posed for like a Sports Illustrated issue? I don't know. She looks like she can tackle somebody on the dance floor. So good for her. Alana Mar. She's a rugby player. Who else do we have? Chandler Kinney. Chandler. Not Chandler Bing. Chandler Kinney. She's a Disney actress. You always got to throw in a Disney actor. You always got to have like a young Disney actress or actor, and then you have to have an old person. I'm assuming Eric Roberts is representing the old people this season because I don't see any other like antediluvians in the mix. We have Reginald VelJohnson. He's an actor. Oh, he's from Family Matters. I used to love Family Matters. Oh, but was Family Matters 80s or 90s? I remember watching Family Matters. It was obviously reruns because I don't think there were new episodes airing at the time that I was watching it. Family Matters. Oh, it was the 90s, 89 to 98. Okay. I was born in 93. I'm pretty sure I was still watching reruns. I was watching in like the 2000s, early 2000s. I used to like watching Family Matters. I don't think there were any new episodes though when I was watching it. But so he's probably also in like the old family sitcom category. Good for him. We have Brooks Nader, not Brooks Marks, but Brooks Nader. She's a model. She's looking smoking. And then we have Danny Amendola. He's a wide receiver. And oh boy, he is hot. So I agree with Joe. Danny and then the Bachelor Joey. Hotties, like yummy, delicious. Oh, and then we also have Steve Nadors. How do you pronounce his name? Nadorosic. Nadorosic? Yeah. Nadarasic. I don't know. He's the one, he was in the Olympics and he was the first name to leak because people were like, "Oh my god, he can't see, right? Isn't he like partially blind or something?" Steven, he's the pommel horse specialist. Yep. Two-time Olympic medalist. Yep. But there's something unique about him, right? Isn't he can't see or something? And yeah. There's something with his vision, right? Am I Am I wrong? What is his thing? His eyesight, yeah. He has a disability he has, strabismus, which means his eyes don't focus or move together often. Oh, I feel like I have strabismus too. I might just, do the autism thing on TikTok and diagnose myself, and then I'll come out with it on TikTok and be like, "Look, guys, I have a disability now." I think he's legally blind. Is he legally blind? He wears glasses. Well, a lot of people wear glasses. This lineup is interesting. Because why? Because there's a guy with glasses on. It's a lot of C-listers and D-listers. Well, when does Dancing with the Stars ever have A-listers? Name the last A-list star that was on Dancing with the Stars. Ooh, look at my must be looking flexy today. I did the 200-meter row at Orange Theory today. I hit a new benchmark, yo. I hit a new benchmark. Let's get it. I did my 2,000-meter row in 6 minutes and 31 seconds, which is 10 seconds quicker than what I did back in April. So, getting it. He has brain damage for going on that show. Oh, you can be legally blind and have some eyesight. Well, yeah, you're legally blind. I'm legally blind, and you'll be amazed at what I can do. Can you do the pommel horse? What is the pommel horse? You right? Oh, it's the thing where it's the bench, right? And you do all the little tricks on the bench, and you're like spinning on the bench, right? You're doing all the little ballet moves. Yeah, it's that thing. And it's on the. Well, I guess you don't really need your eyes to see that, right? You're just kind of like, I whip my hair back and forth. I whip my hair back. Not to listen, I can't do that. So I don't want to diminish his capabilities. I don't want the anti-ableist community on Twitter to come after me, which if they do, I don't really give a shit. But like, I would rather not have them flood my notifications today. I want to keep my peace. But yeah, Danny is a future HOFer. He's an A-lister. What's an HOFer? Is that a slur? Danny. Yeah, okay. Well, good for Danny. Is he they also have like the football, isn't there a football player in there too? So we have Steven, we have Tori, we have Phaedra. Okay. I do want to talk. Joe is real today. Why? What did Joe say? Joe said, as a wide receiver, I bet Danny can give it deep as well. All good though. Some say I have a tight end. Oh, Joe, I would have expected your tight end to have gotten a little looser, with how often the pummel horses have been pummeling it with their pole vaults. Those are some Olympic terms I learned this year. I would say the buzziest star is probably Anna Delvey, and she did her photo, right? Because they have to do their photo shoots. And I'm like, look, we're all dancers now. Phaedra's name leaked a couple of days ago, and I was like, I don't know if this is true or not, because a lot of times these things leak, and we never know if it's real or not. But anyway, Anna Delvey did her photo, and she has her ankle monitor bracelet on. And I saw like some people were like really upset about it. Like Kate Casey, I think, tweeted, and I love Kate Casey, love Kate. But she tweeted, she's like, isn't this supposed to be a family show? And I was like, oh, Kate's pulling her Vicki Gunvalson out there. she's complaining about the little family van because Anna Delvey has a ankle monitor. And then Jeff Epstein's tweeting and he's just like, iconic. I was like, of course, those are the podcasters I keep close. Ones that question, you know, Anna Delvey and ones that see her as iconic. But listen, if that's what we're doing, then I think we should go full Gypsy Rose. I mean, listen, maybe next season we'll have Scott Peterson. Is he out of prison? Isn't he's been a hot topic in the news lately, right? Because they're saying he didn't do it. I don't know. I haven't been keeping up close with that, so don't be mad at me if I said it incorrectly. I don't know what's going on with Scott Peterson. Is he still behind bars? I feel like they were releasing him, no? But Zach, you're inclusive with your friends. I'm inclusive with everybody, right? My friends, the people that I sleep with. You can just, give me I'm a full humanitarian, equal rights all around. Maybe you can get Donna to take you to tapings of Dancing with the Stars. Donna Bowling? Is she doing Dancing with the Stars? You know what's so funny? I have to share this with you guys. It's probably like a members only story, so remind me to bring it up on members only. But I just found out one of my former so obviously you guys know my hairstylist Kelly Christine, who does my hair. She's been doing my hair almost exclusively for the last 6 years. But there were a few times where she wasn't able to do my hair because she was out of the country or she was traveling, whatever. Love, love, love Kelly. And she's like been my 98% like go-to person for my hair even to this day. I'm not blonde anymore, but since I went blonde, she was the one that took me from dark to blonde and then back to dark. She still cuts my hair to this day. But there were a couple of other hairstylists that I went to go see that like they're like celebrity, like they do like really like big stars. So I was like even honored that they decided to take me on. Anyway, one of them I found out has an OnlyFans and a Twitter. And I was like, OMG, I saw so much. I was like, "Ugh." And then I was like texting my friend Jacques. I was like, can you believe? And he's like, what? Send me a link. And I'm like, boop, here's the link. Here's the Twitter. And I was like, wow, wow. I didn't know you were, good at taking so many loads. Like, not only are you good at cutting hair, but you're also good at, allowing other people to cut up your butt cheeks. So that was a very interesting tidbit of news that I discovered this morning. You know me, I'm an investigative journalist. And when a hot case comes across my desk, there we go. Laura says Scott Peterson would have killer moves on the dance floor. See, this is what I love about you guys. You come with the savage jokes. I was, yeah, I was in an Uber yesterday on my way to the studio to tape the pop report, and I was making a few. We saw this one guy, and he was in this beat up car. His car was all sorts of dented and scraped and scratched, and I think it was maybe missing one of the four wheels. And he was just sitting there in his wife beater, which I heard we don't call them wife beaters anymore. I think now they're called wife lovers, which okay. But he was sitting there, hair a hot mess, eyes red and glossy, and he was smoking a cigarette. And me and my Uber driver just turned and we looked, and I wasn't gonna say anything. I was like, "Oh, I kind of wanted to take a picture to post it online." And then the driver was like, "He looks lit," and I was like, "Yeah, I don't know what's more banged up, him or his car." And then my Uber driver was just he was cracking up because he loved all of my very savage jokes, and I kept him very much Oh, we're back. Okay. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. Listen, Mercury's been in the microwave and we've been trying our best to just work through all of the tech issues. I don't know why we've had so many tech issues this week. My apologies. We are back. I'm never going to leave you. I don't want to trigger your abandonment issues. I know I was telling you about my naughty hairstylist that I found. Well, I got a link that sent me to his Twitter, and that's where I found out he was on OnlyFans. Long story short. Um, Fast story short, let's get into all of the housewife stuff. But also let me know who you're looking forward to seeing on Dancing with the Stars this upcoming season because it was just whew. Danny says Mercury retrograde is a bitch with technology. I know. It's always like, and listen, I know it's in the microwave right now and it's like cooking and giving us cancer. So we're trying our best. Okay. Mercury just why doesn't it do this like 4 times a year? When is it gonna get its shit together and stop going into retrograde? Because I'm not having it. Not having it at all. Merce in the purse. Okay. So but like I said, let me know who you're most excited to see. I'm very excited to see Anna Delvey. Give me a controversial celebrity, and I use that term loosely, but yeah, this never happens to your lives. I know this is the second time it's happened this week. It's cuckoo magoo. Gypsy Rose is pregnant. I know Gypsy Rose is pregnant. If you listen to my other podcast, The Pop Report, you would have known Gypsy Rose was pregnant weeks ago. Oh, little plug to The Pop Report. New episode of The Pop Report is out right now, by the way. Will Anna rig it? Well, she's not a rigger, right? She's like a sweet talker. She's a con artist. So I don't know if she'll rig it, but we'll see. I mean, Anna Delvey has to do the cell block tango from Chicago. Does she? She's not doing this from Chicago. No, she's not. She has to do this in LA. I'm sure. Yeah, she just got authorization to work in the US. So I'm pretty sure she's going to be working Anna Delvey and Phaedra. Okay, well, let's talk about Phaedra really quickly because truly, Phaedra Parks has had the renaissance that I think Brandi Glanville would have had Brandi not shot herself in the foot with this Bravo lawsuit, right? Because look at Phaedra. She had a terrible exit to Real Housewives of Atlanta years ago. But she let because obviously she made the accusations against Phaedra, or sorry, Phaedra made the accusations against Candy regarding Portia. And so, she went out bad, bad, bad. But what did she do? She left. She kept her mouth shut. She was like, you know what? I'm going to keep my head down. I'm going to be good. Right. And that's what she did. She was good. She kept a low profile. And ultimately, she's having her renaissance moment because they brought her back to do Married to Medicine and they brought her onto The Traitors. She did so well. Like she kept herself, she went, took a beat, stepped away from the Bravo land. And then when she was offered a small opportunity to dabble her toe back in, she did Married to Medicine. She killed it. She was offered The Traitors. She killed it. She proved that she was an asset to the network. She proved that she was loyal to the network and she wasn't going to burn the network. And here we are. She did Ultimate. Oh, that's right. Ultimate Girls Trip. That's what started it. It was Ultimate Girls Trip, Ex-Wives Club at Dorinda's Bluestone Manor. That's what solidified it. Like you have to show the network what an asset you are. So she did Ultimate Girls Trip. Then she got Married to Medicine. Then she got The Traitors. Then she got to return to Real Housewives of Atlanta. And now she's on Dancing with the Stars. Truly a full circle moment. Brandi Glanville, on the other hand, didn't even give it a year before she started trashing Bravo and dragging them. And I get it. Sometimes you're stuck in these contracts or you get burned by the network and it's hard. I mean, there are times where I like get upset and then I'm like, I get like irritated with certain things and I'm just like, fuck this company or whatever. And then my manager's always like, no, you have to, stay the course, keep a good relationship with the network because you never know where this is going to go down the line. And it's just, it's one of those things. And Brandy, unfortunately, didn't wait very long before she went and torched the network. Had she just wrote it out, because what come early 2024 is when it came out that, the investigation that NBC did found out, yes, Brandy did disrespect Caroline, but she did not violate Caroline in any way. They have all of the statements, they have all the producers, they had the footage, they had the audio, they presented all of that in court. I don't know what ended up happening with Caroline's lawsuit. I know they're not going to offer her a settlement just to like let this go away, but I don't know where that lawsuit Caroline's lawsuit against the network stands as of today. Probably have to look that up and see where it's at. Or actually, Joe Dito, can we get an update? I feel like Joe's our resident researcher now. 'Cause anytime I'm like, Joe, I need what's going on with this lawsuit? He like sends me the docs. Um, but yeah, I don't know what's going on. But listen, the evidence came out and Brandy's like, I've been vindicated and nobody cares. But like, here's the thing. Had you still been good to the network would have kept you on ice for a minute. And then eventually you would have been able to come back and be in good graces, right? She should have waited till the evidence came out instead of demanding that they release it and do all this other stuff. She should have waited for all of that to come out, for the investigation findings to completely come out. And then eventually she would have been able to have been cleared of all of this. It's wild to me that she really shot herself in the foot. Joe says, "Did she really prove herself on Married to Medicine, though? The ratings still sucked with her in it." I think she proved herself as an asset on Ultimate Girls Trip, and then, Ultimate Girls Trip led to more opportunities like Married to Medicine and like, The Traders, and she was able to shine in The Traders because I feel like that's where she thrives best rather than, I don't think Married to Medicine was necessarily the show for her. I didn't watch it, but from what I heard from people that do watch it and that, watched the season with Phaedra, I just don't think it was the right opportunity for her. Danny says, I'm worried that Phaedra's not going to hit the same way on Real Housewives of Atlanta because she does not tend to share a lot about her actual self. She's great at humor and gimmick, which I love, but I don't want it all. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that Phaedra, I've always said that's why she shined in Ultimate Girls Trip and Traders, and she's probably going to do fine on, well, I don't know. We'll see about Dance with the Stars, but it's like in those small doses where she gets to be funny and she gets to provide, confessionals and have funny scenes with the other women. I think that's fun. As a friend of, I think Phaedra's great in the right setting, but sorry, my nose is like itchy. So yeah, we'll see. Brian says, Brandy, when your ego is bigger than your talent. Listen, I got some great advice from one of the best reality stars, and she told me the house always wins, so don't bet against the house. You know, know when to fold, know when to sit, know when to, you know, do what you got to do because the house will always win at the end of the day, and that's fair. So, Joe says Frickin' Frack Part 2 won't land well with audiences, but adding Phaedra to Real Houses of Atlanta was probably a desperate move to salvage what they could with the season. They should have never let Kenya go. They just shouldn't have. They should have fought to keep Kenya on. Um, we'll see. I hope Kenya doesn't sue the network. I hope Kenya walks away gracefully. I hope Kenya keeps her head up. Obviously, she's going to be upset with the network, but I hope she doesn't like try to burn it all to the ground. So, who told you that, Zach? Who told me what? That I look gorgeous? Everyone, every day, Tiffany. So, I could see Kenya coming back to the network. I mean, look at Portia came back. I mean, Portia didn't have like a scandal like Brandy or Phaedra did, but you know, the house always wins. So just stay loyal to the house and be good. What housewife? Well, obviously, if I didn't reveal the housewife's name, I'm not going to tell you now. Why would I be like, oops, let me keep this discreet? And then you ask me, and I'm like, okay, here's the name. If I'm keeping it discreet, I got to keep it discreet. Laura says, you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, and know when to walk away, and know when to run. Yeah. Brian also asking for a friend. Who is your hairstylist getting his cheeks left now? I'm not revealing that. I'm not revealing that. Maybe I'm like, hey, can I book an appointment? Uh, we'll see. Okay. So Brandy Glanville, take notes. Well, I guess she can't take notes now because she's already screwed it all up. And I'm threatening the network. And then she came after Andy, and it's just oof, 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 oof. So Zach posted a story / reel about it. Did I? About what? You guys are always posting these things. I'm like, what are y'all talking about? Okay, let's talk about Erika Jayne because she has just joined Two Teas in a Pod. I do like Two Teas in a Pod, and I was actually discussing this with one of my other friends. I have a lot of my podcast friends. I wish I could just be like, and so and I were talking about this, and we were saying this, and blah blah blah. But the Two Teas in a Pod. Erica's now joined. I guess they had Alexia. I don't know why Teddy and Tamra, even if this was their choice or not, I hope it wasn't, why they invested in Alexia and what's her name? Alexia and Marisol. Like, why did they think they would be good at having a podcast together? Like, Real Houses of Miami isn't even that popular, number one. But then I'm looking at some of the choices with the iHeart shows, and Teddy and Tamra lightning in a bottle with Two Teas in a Pod. Great podcast, always does well. You have two polarizing people that are just going to, naturally demand the attention in the room, right? But I'm seeing like Tamara's new show with Dan about like recapping competition shows. And then I just learned yesterday that Teddy and Emily, they have a was it Popping Off? They have the Popping Off podcast, and that's like about like they're covering was it Love is Blind or Too Hot to Handle? I'm like, what? Teddy and Emily, I just don't think have the chemistry that like Teddy and Tamara have. And I don't think Dan and Tamara have the chemistry that Teddy and Tamara have. Like, you have to have the right duo. It has to have the right synergy, and the topics have to make sense. Like, Teddy and Emily should have been talking about Love Island more than, they should have been talking about Too Hot to Handle. Like, that would have made more sense because at least Love Island connects to the Bravo lands. Like, nobody that's watching Too Hot to Handle is going to be interested in, what Emily has to say. Like, Emily's a great talent, but I just think we're not utilizing Emily in the best way. Same thing with Teddy. I mean, I think Teddy's a lot more versatile. You can throw her, into different types of shows with different types of topics, and I think Teddy will still do well. But I don't know. And even when they had Marisol and Alexia, their show wasn't great. And then they had Alexia on Two Teas and a Pod. Like, Alexia's not a great podcaster. She's not a great commentator. Erika Jayne, though, great. Erika, I'm too busy with anti-Scientology podcasts right now. See, that's fun to mix up your content, right? I love Miami, but not for them. Yeah, I agree, Danny. I love Miami for the ensemble cast, right? Everyone brings something unique. But Erika Jayne being on Two Teas in a Pod, I think that this is actually really good. I think the challenge, though, is Erika's currently on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and Erika still interacts with a lot of these people often. That to me, the challenge becomes, you know, I would feel like maybe she would be a little more reserved with some of her opinions, right? 'Cause she's also very mindful of like the press and how the press can take things out of context sometimes. And so I don't know. But she's recapping Real Housewives of Orange County with Teddy, which I think is a great duo because Erika and Teddy are naturally friends. They have a good rapport, they have good energy together, they have chemistry. Because I think their relationship is very genuine, very similar to like Teddy and Tamara's relationship. But so calling out Alexis though, saying that like, it's good for Alexis and John Jansen that they're engaged. She's like, go and be happy, live your best life. Like, why are you here trying to terrorize Shannon Beador? And Erika very much came to Shannon's defense, and she's like, leave her alone. Like, I get it, you guys are happy and you want to move on from her, but like, don't engage with her. Don't keep looping her back into the conversation because everyone's team Shannon. Everybody's coming to Shannon's support based off what we're seeing this season. I actually think this would not have been a good season for Shannon had Alexis not returned. I think Shannon would have had a really rough season and was going because she's already not in great graces with the other women. And if anything, I don't think the DUI itself, like you would have, if the DUI were the only issue on the table, you would have seen Shannon not take accountability, right? Because she didn't quit drinking. Where I understand where Tamara's coming from, because Tamara's like, I think you're an alcoholic. And listen, I've met Shannon. She was very lovely to me when I met her. She was, very kind, very sweet. But I do believe Tamara when Tamara says, I mean, I think Emily even said it, like that Shannon probably is an alcoholic. I think she really does have a drinking issue or an issue with drinking. And, I think she definitely abuses alcohol and should have taken at least 6 months off from drinking minimum, maybe even a year. Just test it out, see how you do, just like reevaluate how you got to a place where you were in a relationship with a guy like John Jansen and abusing alcohol to the extent that you were. But the fact that John Jansen is coming and taking these shots at Shannon, and then he has Alexis Bellino who's filming and acting as John Jansen's mouthpiece, all that's doing is piling on Shannon. So then the audience is defaulting to being Team Shannon, you know? Where is Tamra's degree in addiction? People don't have degrees in addiction, Mary Ann. Like, you don't need to, anybody can fall out of a coconut tree and witness somebody abusing alcohol. And I think Shannon Beador is definitely abusing alcohol. You don't need a degree in addiction. Look at, Ray Gunn. Ray Gunn had a degree in breakdancing, and clearly that did nothing for her because she went to the Olympics and bombed that. So I don't think a degree does very much. Mary McFadden says, totally agree, Marianne. Okay, well, do you agree about Ray Gunn? Because Ray Gunn has a degree, and she was a disaster. So yeah. I think Alexis is ultimately what's giving Shannon, good graces. Marianne says, yes, and I have the degree. That's great. Love that for you. Says, I think the point is Tamra is a glass house. Probably, but that doesn't make her wrong in thinking that Shannon has a drinking addiction, for sure. Lexi says, I agree, but I also don't think Tamra has to come off the way that she does. It's clear that she has a problem and shouldn't feel like Tamra knocks her down every chance she gets. I do agree. I don't like Tamra's approach. I think Tamra was trying to come at it from a tough love approach. And I think she probably also thought maybe this would be good for the show, because Tamra's always kind of come very hard and doesn't hold back. But I don't think it's landing well. I don't think the audience is reading it the way that Tamra's delivering it, because Tamra's delivery is a little too tough. Is Tamra being too performative this season? I think she's been a bit performative this season, but I think she's always a bit performative. And I don't even know if she's being performative. I just think she's naturally, dramatic. She's naturally, one for the theatrics. That's what she's always been. That's what she's always done since her first season on the show, I think that that's just part of Tamra's personality. Tamra's been performative since she was offered her orange can. I don't think so. I think Tamra was, what people classify as performative when she was originally on the show. I just think that's what it is. Steele from Brav Bros has a very good take on Tamra's approach to Shannon. Yeah, listen, I've talked to Steele when I've had people in my life that have struggled with addiction issues, and I wanted to be supportive, but I didn't know how. And like Steele and I have had some really good, deep off mic, off camera conversations. Steele I consider, a solid friend of mine, and we've discussed it at length, not about Tamra specifically, but like, in my own personal life with people in the past. And I happen to agree hearing his analysis, and also, dealing with alcoholism in my own family. That's obviously, it's nothing that I'm new to. I don't have a degree in it like Mary in the live chat, but Anne Marie says, I don't think it's tough love. I think she's nasty and needed a storyline. I don't think she's nasty and needed a storyline, because Tamra never really needs a storyline, right? I think in her mind, she's thinking that she's giving tough love. But I also agree with you, Anne Marie. Even though she thinks that she's giving tough love, the audience sees it as, her just being nasty toward Shannon. And I do think that when you're on reality TV for so long, you do get caught up, and the lines between reality and storyline do get blurred. Joe says, the Zack Pack is here to support your addiction, Brian. Oh, so now we're just clapping back at everybody in the live chat. Christina says, if Shannon wasn't on the show, what would Tamra talk about? Tamra would have something else to talk about, right? If Shannon weren't on the show, there would be another storyline that would be unfolding on the show, right? Every season of every reality show has a storyline, regardless of who's on it or who's not on it. There are things that happen naturally, and the cameras follow whatever is the most compelling. That's not tough love. Guys, I know That I know that it doesn't come across as tough love, but I'm saying Tamra's intention, I think in her head, she thinks she's just giving tough love. Whether you think it's tough love or not is again subjective. I have to remind everybody that our opinions are subjective. How we view things is not always how other people view things, and how we view someone is not always how they are perceiving the situation, right? They only see things through their own eyes. I can't see the world through Tamara's eyes. But I can hear the words that Tamara is saying and I can see her actions. And I agree with many of you. I think, hearing the words come out of her mouth and, her expressing her intention, I think her intention was to give tough love. But sometimes tough love can be really tough and it comes across as nasty and abrasive. And that's what we're seeing. Do you think Alexis's ring is real? She wore a fake one when she was married. I don't know. I mean, I know people wear fake ones because they keep like their real jewelry in a safety deposit box, so they have like duplicates made that are fake ones in case anybody tries to steal them. I don't know. Is that why she parents her daughter? Who parents her daughter? Brian says, "Well, we can see a world through her brow life and CO2 treatment." Oh, her brow lift, you mean? Yeah, her face is looking a little scary, right? Um, well, it's like I've done, microneedling, and when you do microneedling, your face, like, peels, not to that degree, right? That's, her chemical peel that she did, but she got a upper facelift, and she got a chemical peel, and her face is looking rough. It's, like, real swollen, and it's peeling off, and it just, whew, looks wild, and she even said that her mom texted her and was like, "Oh, your face looks horrible, like, your face looks disgusting," and I had somebody ask me if you were in a motorcycle accident. It was funny. Um, what does John Jansen actually do for work? I don't know. Um, Kitschy says, I can't believe Tamara went through all that procedure but kept that old nose. See, why is it not nasty? Why is it nasty when Tamara, calls out Shannon about her drinking, but then people online they're like, Tamara's so nasty. Then they like make comments about somebody's face and their nose, and they're just like, but Tamara's the nasty one. It's like, guys, you can't call somebody nasty and then also behave nasty. I guess, takes one to know one. Um, we don't know what her face is going to look like at the end of the day. And I don't think she has an ugly nose. Diane says Shannon is definitely abusing alcohol. I am an adult child of an alcoholic and a nurse. Tamara is no one's friend. She does what's best for her and she sees herself in Shannon, in my opinion. Possibly. I mean, listen, a lot of what we see is our own projections, right? What we see in other people is often a mirror to the parts of ourselves that we see reflected back at us. And a lot of times I think, we lash out when we see something that's reflected back at us that hits a little too close to home, right? The insults that hurt us are the ones that we're the most insecure about. Don't humiliate someone on national television if you're trying to help them with tough love. I agree. I don't disagree with that. Um, I'm not saying that her behavior does not come across as nasty. I have not denied that, Anne Marie. Brian says, let me guess, John Jansen does marketing like Jen Shaw. Maybe. Lexi says, yeah, 100% tough love. I felt for Shannon in the moment because she's already gotten so much backlash, and then the season airs and it comes off so harsh from Tamara. So it's like a cycle all over again. I agree. Look at Brandy's plastic surgeon did the work because they're doing it in front of her and her friends. Big difference. Zach. Looks like Brandy's plastic surgeon did the work. Um, again, it always amazes me when people are like, "This housewife is so nasty," and then they like annihilate the way these women look. Um, But again, people are also saying, like, Tamara looks horrible or Tamara looks terrible, like, her plastic surgeon did a bad job. We haven't even seen the results yet. That's like somebody going in and breaking their arm, and they come out of the hospital with a cast on because their arm is healing, and people are like, "Your arm looks funny. That's not how an arm is supposed to operate." It's like, they literally just came out of the hospital. So we don't know what Tamara's face is gonna look like when the swelling is gone and the healing has cleared. It's gonna take a couple of weeks for it to heal. That's like someone that comes fresh out of the hospital from getting a brand new nose job, and people are like, "Oh, your face looks horrible." Um, Lexi says, Marianne Stout is on one today. I agree. She is on. And then Marianne Stout said, Thanks, Lexi. I don't think that was a compliment, but you know what? Receive all the love, my dear. Jane Bibble says, "Hello, Zach. If you're not in a good place with the person you've been really close with before, then you start criticizing their behavior. It's not going to come across in a good way." I agree, but I don't think that she was in a bad place with Shannon. I think she was just getting frustrated with Shannon because if she was by Shannon's side and trying to support her after the DUI, and then it just she got frustrated with a lot of Shannon's behavior. From what I could recall, John Jansen works in a mortgage insurance company. Oh, okay. Billy says, even Kelly Dodd said Tamara's face is going to look awesome. Of course, Jenny says, of course she looks horrible. Hello, she just had surgery. Thank you. Okay, I'm glad people have noggins today and they put on their thinking caps because I'm like, she literally had surgery less than a week ago. It's literally been days. That's like if someone has a nose job. What the difference is most people go and have surgery and they don't show you the results. They wait until they heal. And the difference with Tamara is she's literally showing us the day by day healing process. Like I've had friends that have gotten nose jobs, and when you see them fresh out of getting a nose job, they're swollen, they have bruises all over their face, they have a cast over their nose. Like, yeah, if you show somebody 24 hours after surgery, they're going to look insane, you know? Eventually when she heals, even with facelifts, like Teddy, Teddy got that lower facelift done and Teddy looks incredible. But at first her face was a little tight, right? And she had a little bit of swelling. And they say with the lower facelifts, I think Heather McDonald was talking about it on her podcast because she's had friends that have done it too. She's like, with those lower facelifts, it takes a while, like even a year before it settles in. Even with a nose job, like it takes several months to even a year sometimes before it fully like adjusts and settles and people are used to your new face and then they're like, wow, this does look really good on you. Let's lighten the mood with some Jesus jugs talk. Lori's like, give me some jugs in my face. um let's see. um well, actually, so speaking of Tamara and Vicki are going at it right now. They've been going back and forth and I'm curious, for everyone that's like, Tamara's so nasty, I'm curious what you thought about Vicki, because on Vicki's podcast, my soulmate, my podcast, I think is what it's called, with Christian Grace No. Vicky was talking about Tamara's daughter and how she's like, Tamara should just leave the show. And Tamara has no relationship with her daughter. And if she really cared about her relationship with her daughter, I would have, immediately left the show and went to work on my relationship with my daughter, because obviously her daughter hates that she's embarrassing herself on television. And so, Vicky made all of these remarks about Tamara and her relationship with her daughter, right? So then Tamara clapped back when she was doing a Q&A on Instagram, and Tamara was like, it's interesting, Vicky trying to school me on my relationship with my daughter when she believed Brooks and his fake cancer story over her own daughter, Brianna. So they're taking shots at each other. Oof. Vicky stepping on toes. Yeah, I thought kids were off limits till they're not. Yeah, Vicky is another judgmental piece of work. Yeah. Okay. I'm glad we, are a little more even keeled here. Birds of a feather. Tamara and Vicky are forever frenemies. They are, right? They're forever like friends and not friends and friends and not friends. And I'll never speak to you again. And you're disgusting. Women don't treat women like this. So, I do agree. I think kids should be off limits, right? Like there's no need to drag the kids into this, especially when the kids don't want to be a part of this. So yeah. Vicky and Tamara are definitely having it out. They got taking shots and no names. Tamara has a point. She's right. No, I agree. Where are these coconut trees that people are falling out of? I need to make sure I'm not underneath them. They're everywhere. You have to check, you have to go see what has been unburdened by what has been. And that's where you'll find the coconut trees, where all the unburdening is. Wanda says, well, Vicky and her Christian heart has always been so gracious and kind. Said no one ever. Yeah. 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 Michelle says, Vicky shades Tamara for not making her daughter a storyline when Tamara is trying to respect her daughter's boundaries by not bringing her up. Make it make sense. Yeah. I mean, even though Tamara did bring her up this season. But to be fair, it's tough, when you're on a reality show and there are parts of your life that you wish you could talk about. But I mean, listen, Tamra now has her other daughter that's on the show, and she's able to show her life with her. So, that's good. Jeanette says, you have to speak to people in their language. Shannon will never hear what Tamra is saying because Tamra's tough love is the language, is the language and not Shannon. Yeah, I actually agree with that, Jeanette. That's exactly how I feel. Like they are, their communication styles, but like we did see them, they have had moments where they've come together and they had, points of connection. So I'm curious to see how this continues to unfold. Um, because yeah, we do see them, like that's where I'm like, people are still mad at Tamara. I get it, Tamara's having this, like, really rough approach towards Shannon, but, like, we've seen them, like, come together and make up and make amends, and Tamara express her love for Shannon. We saw, the 3 of them together at the Traders Night, and they kind of, like, the 3 of them had a point of connection again, so they seem to be in a good place. So it seems like people only focus on when Tamara's, berating Shannon rather than the moments where they do come together and like have a good point of connection. Brian says from last week's OC, I will say Teddy's lines, Housewives and Vicki was pretty savage. It was pretty savage and it was good. It was a good one. Welcome, Housewives and Vicki. True dat. That was a fun episode, the Traders episode. The ladies didn't know how to play it, but it was fun, right? There wasn't a ton of high stakes drama, but there were, conversations. There was beef that was being hashed out. So all that good stuff. All that good stuff. It's always a good time. Okay, I think that's all I have for you. Anything else that we missed or any other hot takes that you want to throw into the mix? Let's get it. Get it. Get it. Okay. Birds of a feather, we should stick together. Oh, Marianne shouts back. Maybe they should both go back to church and Bible study because the moments are fake. Tamara is no one's friend. Thank you, Marianne Stout, for sharing with the class. Would anybody else like to share their presentation? Joe says, do we know a Kyle Krieger? Who's Kyle Krieger? Brian says, yes, I brought up the show Anonymous. Is anyone watching that? Who's Kyle Krieger? What is Anonymous? Say what? Birds of a feather. We should stick together. Marianne says, I need a nap after this live. Listen, I feel you, girl. Christina says, I think Tamara is catching heat because she keeps bringing up the blackmail ring footage. That I don't like. I don't like the blackmail ring footage at all, regardless of what Shannon did. Like the blackmail, it's blackmail and extortion at this point. I do agree. This whole, we're suing Shannon, and like at this point, they are basically extorting her, and it's not great. I think Alexis and John would probably be getting more heat from people over the ring stuff had Tamara not been coming so hard at Shannon. Um, and I think had Alexis not been there, though, I think Shannon and Tamara would have really had a tough go at it. And Shannon would have had a tougher season in terms of the audience not really rallying behind her. Um, and Tamara probably wouldn't look as rough to the audience, and saying that could ruin her life's kids. It's too far. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Lexi says, is the 75,000 that John is suing for coming from a loan Shannon got? I don't understand the lawsuit if she's willing to settle. So my understanding is it was not a formal loan, right? Where John said, I'm going to give you this money. Here's a contract, sign the contract, and here are the terms of the loan. Usually when you loan somebody money, especially, like 30 and 40 grand, which were the payments that he made to her, usually you want to have some formality around that. So if anything, her legal team could argue that it wasn't a loan, it was a gift. And, there's nothing in writing. Shannon didn't sign any formal paperwork that said that she would ever pay this money back to John Jansen. And it did seem like until they broke up and, he didn't want the money and now he wants the money back out of spite to punish her. So, yeah. Yeah. He clearly didn't want to sign the paper so Alexis and him could talk about it on camera. Yeah, where Shannon said, "We'll make you a settlement offer as long as you don't talk about it." But Shannon said she was willing to settle and give him half. Which I think is fair considering so it's 75,000 total, but those were 2 different loans that he's claiming were given to her, right? Um, and so with the 2 different loans, one of them was from a couple years ago and one of them was more recent. I think one of them was like 40 grand and the other one was like 35 grand. And so I'm assuming she was like, "Okay, well, this most recent one that was less than a year ago or whatever, I'll pay you back for that one and then we'll just call the other one a wash because you clearly don't need that other one if that was from years ago and we dated since then and you clearly never asked for that money back and continued to give me money without even asking for that last, you know, bump of money back." So, yeah. He's in finance, so he knew better to get a no. Why did he wait until it was on camera? Well, that's a good point, Marianne. He is in finance. He understands this world, so he should have gotten a no with her signing. And I will pay you back within a year. I'll pay you back within 2 years, like with a time frame. That way they could have something more formal that was a little more secure. So. Dog Mom Laura says, "Love your channel. Give love over to your pups." Oh, thank you, my love. I appreciate that. Thank you, Dog Mom Laura. Appreciate you. So yeah, he didn't want to sign the non-disparagement clause. Yeah. So I don't think it was about the money. I think it was about making her look bad. I think he wanted to hurt her. He was like, "I'm gonna stick it where it hurts. No lube." And so that's where we stand. That's where it stands. All right. Well, that's all I got for you for today. Hope you had a good one. There is a new episode of the Pop Report that is out right now, so you can go and listen to the Pop Report on all podcast platforms. We're talking all about Ellen DeGeneres having a comeback. We're talking about Selling Sunset because all of that drama has unfolded. We're talking about the 1,000-pound sisters. One of them got arrested at a zoo. That was wild. So we break down a lot on a new episode of the Pop Report. So go check it on out. The Pop Report on all podcast platforms, also on YouTube. So you can watch and subscribe on YouTube as well. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm giving you all the good love and energy. Good vibrations. All right. Give me a follow at Just Plain Zack if you want to keep up with me. Follow the podcast at No Filter with Zack on the Instagram. And I'll be back tomorrow with an all new episode of No Filter with Zack Peter. So stay tuned. Get it right, get it tight. Booty, 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 rocking everywhere, rocking everywhere. I found you, Miss New. All right, love you guys. Appreciate it. Stop it. 1,000-pound sisters arrested at the zoo. I have to listen to that. Yes. Well, not both of them. Only one of them. So it's only half a thousand. She got she got arrested at a zoo for having a hot box moment with her kids in the back and a man. What? It was wild. Go check it out. All right, love you. Appreciate you. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Ciao for now.